Samsung has been pushing out high volumes of smartphones for a long time, but for many like myself, they never really had a handset worthy of pulling me away from the iPhone's vice-like grip. This tale has changed for the better with the Galaxy S3 and really reshaped the market share. With definite stature and presence, what is it that makes the Galaxy S3 so popular? Let's take a look. The S3 gives definite proof that size does matter, and it isn't a compact device, but nor is it bulky. It has expansive dimensions but trims its size and thickness. With a pebble designed to meld with nature and rounding all the way around the edge and back of the phone means that in hand, the S3's sheer girth isn't imposing and awkward, rather a satisfying fit. And while the glossy smoothness of the entire device screams plastic, it actually is solidly built with no creaks or bends. Earthy subdued colour tones are splashed across a brushed polycarbonate casing, and the S3 goes for a little symmetry, with Samsung still offering a dedicated home button and two capacitive buttons. Integrated seamlessly is the notification light, and the volume and unlock buttons are positioned suitably for a single-handed approach. One thing that a lot of phone makers fail to do is offer a seamless Android experience to compete with iOS. This is one of the fullest spec sheets I've come across to date. The S3 comes out swinging with an Equinox quad-core CPU, and the user experience is delivered swifter than I had previously encountered, and I wasn't able to generate any amount of appreciable lag. Load times were excellent and the graphical performance was uncompromised. An important feature of the S3 is the ability to remove the back panel to give access to the large battery, SIM card and micro SD card slots. With variations of 16, 32 and 64 gig of internal memory available and expandable by up to another 64 gig, the S3 can top out at a maximum 128 gig. While this seems well excessive for a smartphone, when you think about full 1080p videos that should be stored and watched on the S3, space will fill up. And Samsung doesn't spare any expense in connectivity, offering the usual Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.0 and the fashionable addition of NFC, giving the S3 and future iterations endless possibilities. If you would like me to draw comparisons to any other phone, I would have to basket it with the HTC One X range. While the screen is a major selling point, it doesn't wow me the same way the One XL did. The excellent pixel density is unfortunately outdone by a duller display that offered off-whites, lesser brightness, poor daylight performance and heavily saturated colours in certain scenarios. You can alter this in the settings somewhat, but it left the rest of the screens looking flat. But it still should sell units. Why? Well, for one, Samsung bothered to give us Gorilla Glass 2. It feels smoother and sleeker and gives additional strength that I've witnessed firsthand on a friend's S3 to withstand immense punishment, unlike the iPhone 5 that smashed first drop. As well, when using the Galaxy S3, I felt like I was holding nothing but an interactive screen. The thin bordering and immense size of the 4.8-inch screen engrossed you into its realm. It was solidly satisfying to use the phone in landscape as well, which can't be said for the iPhone 5. Currently out of the box, you get a licking of Android ice cream sandwich coated with a rich covering of Samsung's TouchWiz UI. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's the most beautiful UI out there, because it isn't. It gives fantastic customization and sensible and intuitive layouts that fit with its nature-esque persona, but it tries to encourage the idea that boxy, old-fashioned app design is better than what Google tells us is in, and it isn't. This is an aesthetic inconvenience. In practice, the UI is superb. It makes a lot of sense over its predecessor. You should be able to continually scroll through home pages, and I miss this in any other non-Samsung Android device. I can't find any discernible stutter in my day-to-day use, and I enjoy finding ways to crash a device. The lock screen gives me every perceivable way to unlock the S3, from swipe, password, facial recognition, and tilting. I was able to make the S3 an extension of my own taste. The notifications tab has been modified to give quick access to many important features, and the settings are obviously rich. I love that the app drawer isn't disjointed from the home pages by allowing the same background passover, but forcing me to cross tabs for widgets is a little annoying. The dedicated home button will make the iPhone transition a little easier, and the capacitive menu button is for the most part very useful, and the back button obviously beneficial. Multitasking in general makes sense. It unfathomably runs a plethora of applications simultaneously, and the S3 offers a host of gesture, motion and voice command choices that range from very useful like the palm swipe to take a screenshot and turning the phone over to stop a playing movie, to very average and could have been left out. S-Voice like Siri can be a great help, but often just can't register certain phrases. The S3 will also see if your eyes are still watching the screen and will turn off when you supposedly fall asleep. It's a whatever feature, interesting, kind of works, but I don't have use for it. The contacts and phone functions as well appear to operate as two separate apps, loading every time you flick between them, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Brilliant software and hardware additions mean that the Galaxy S3 isn't limited in how the consumer can use it. Watching movies is superb on the large screen and the speaker quality is clear and loud. Samsung offers a neat trick by being able to continue watching the movie on a smaller movable screen while using the rest of the phone, which demonstrates the power of the processor. I love transmitting my media from one device to another over the air, and S-Beam and DLNA integration make it a life companion. The 8-megapixel camera offers top-notch photos in all conditions and even offers up facial recognition that after you tag somebody once in a photo, it will continue to recognize them and add those photos to those contacts in your list. It really is no wonder why the Galaxy S3 is dominating the phone market at the moment. It brings together the culmination of great smartphone ideas that we had been left wanting all in one device for some time. A touch interface benefits with size, and the girth and grunt of the S3 means that you are left satisfied. It sets a scene for what a top tier phone could be and raised an already high bar. When Samsung delivers the Galaxy S4, it will surely turn a lot of heads because this baby has all the components, it just needs to tidy a few loose ends. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This has been Kurt from KABOOtech. Thanks for watching.